Welcome to the Dream Castle Podcast. My name is Desmond Delaghetto.
And my name is David Kong.
And this is episode 15 of Drive Council Radio.
On this episode, we'll be talking about KOF in the year of 2012, a year in review. We have special guests, Colt from Mexico.
Hi guys, thank you for having me today.
Choysauce from SoCal.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Malik from New York.
What's going on, everybody?
Just to let y'all know, we're not going to do the usual intro. We're just going to get right into it, talking about 2012, King of Fighters 13. It's been, I feel like it's been a good year, in my opinion.
It has been the year, man. Like, I think this past year really has put KOF on the map in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, man, it's been awesome. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of us have had some really good experiences.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially for myself. I told myself, like, right when the game was going to drop last year that I was going to do everything in my power to go to as many tournaments as I can and to help the community as much as I could, So I definitely thought this year was great, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen, in 2013,
Yeah, so I want to hear from our guests. Like, we have people from all over America and Mexico, and so yeah, why don't we start with you, Colt? Before KOF really got big in the States, we all kind of knew it as the game to be playing in Mexico for a while now. Like, how has the KOF scene kind of evolved in Mexico with KOF 13 this past year?
Well, it has been amazing, really. The thing is that 2012 is the year that 02 died. Is the year, well, not died, but people is finally starting to jump to the new KOF game, and that's amazing for me as a passionate fan of KOF, because for years it was always, no, it's 2002, always 2002, always 02, and our best players were always attached to that game in such a passionate way that, in my very personal point of view, it was a ridiculously stubborn. It was ridiculous, for real. It was okay, guys. Maybe the other games weren't as good as 2002, but the games are coming. And when 13 kicked the arcades, we got a pair here in Mexico. People was not playing it. People was making stupid excuses like, I don't like how Ralph and Clark looks like now. They are just fat. Or Leona's hair is ugly now. And suddenly people start playing it, and this is because of course, our great players over there in the States, like Luis Cha, going from Mexico City. He was kind of my name, and he went to the US, started playing professionally. Of course, Bala doing that amazing run for almost 1 year. That ended without defeats, that ended on Evo, of course, but people realized that the game was hyped, and that's what I loved about. People realized that it was good, it was fun, and right now, all of the top players of KOF's 2002 in Mexico are playing the 13th version of KOF. We have Mexico playing KOF 13, and that's amazing. We got World Cyber Games that hosted a side tournament of KOF here in Mexico City. We have some majors around the country that all hosted also KOF. Hosted KOF tournaments. So for me, it was an amazing year for the community here, for us, to show the world, and not just in KOF, in all fighting games, we showed that Mexico has great players, that Mexico is like a new place where new talents are burning for KOF and other games. So
yeah,
for me, it was an amazing year.
I can totally see your enthusiasm, and obviously it has been really amazing. I remember seeing a few streams, where some legendary 2002 players, like you were mentioning, like Kula and Bart, were hopping on the game, and yeah, those were very, very memorable moments for myself as well, just following the Mexican scene. But that sounds awesome. And like you were saying, there's been kind of a little bit of this crossbreeding between Mexico and SoCal, like with Luis Cha coming over and stuff like that. And I believe, guys like Choysauce and myself have some direct experience with that. I mean, we've gone to the run back like pretty consistently for at least I did during the earlier part of this year. But yeah, Choysauce, do you remember? Do you have any experiences to share regarding seeing like Mexican players coming up to SoCal? Have you ever played Luis Cha in tournaments or anything like that?
Well, I have to say I haven't actually played Luis Cha in tournament, but I've seen him play and I see how he does, and it's like he's not someone I would want to run into during the tournament for sure, but like definitely having the the Mexican community send some people up here. It's definitely made the SoCal scene a lot more ferocious in that sense. So it's like the competition is super stacked because of that.
Yeah, dude, I can totally attest to that. And not just Luis Cha, but we've had players like Kane 9999 and some of the Tijuana players come up here on occasion. And yeah, it has been super, super awesome.
And also,
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe that the opportunity of watching a full-scale international worldwide circuit of players trying to beat each other, it has been amazing. Mago going to the US, Tokido going to the US, being part of the community, of course, at Mago's big mistake. That was one of his best mistakes ever, I bet. And watching all these players like having fun around this Soul game, that it's a great game. It's not like other KOFs that were out there and that maybe SNK missed some spots there. It's an amazing game, and we see players from all over the world comparing one to each other. And to my heart's pain, I can say now that it would seem that the best KOF in the world right now is not from Mexico. It's from that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I cannot go against the proofs. Our guys got kicked by Koreans, but the thing is that we now know who we have to beat, and we now know who are those rivals. And the Mexican players, I assure you, guys like Abril El Rosa, guys like Kusanagi, guys like these dudes that have been playing a lot of time KOF, now that they have that need to go and face them and prove that Mexico is the home of KOF great players. And that for me is amazing. These guys have the motivation again. Once that maybe was lost for so many years of playing the same game and always watching the same faces once and again and again. Now they have this competitive spirit lighting up again. And I assure you guys, you're going to see more of them or of their faces over there in the north. And they are willing to face against most of you, so get ready.
Great. And that's before we stray too far away from the topic at hand, I do want to draw the conversation back a little and talk about specifically in 2012 some of the other great things that have happened in various other scenes. I know I'm sure most people know by now that NorCal is one of the, along with SoCal, is kind of where KOF really started blooming in North America, or not North America, in the States rather. And one guy that was part of most of that action while it was happening is with us here right now, Reiki. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's been going on in NorCal throughout the past year?
Okay, well, we're talking about all of 2012, so it's been a really wild ride. With NorCal, we did a lot of invitationals like NorCal Knockouts, Taco Cup, and
that's a great name for a tournament, by the way.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah, art's idea. Southtown Arcade has really been a big hub for KOF play, especially with our weekly rambats that we were, or bi-weekly rambats that we were doing with the game. We spent a lot of time trying to compete against each other, and a lot of the time we were just focusing around being better as players rather than working on the community, which I feel was a bad thing in my sense. But I digress. That's the past. This is now. So as we went on throughout the year and then we hit the high point of EVO, really felt like we were contributing a lot to the hype for King of Fighters, at least in our region and in general California. We're doing a lot, like going to events, visiting SoCal, anywhere that was close. We went to Evo, and I like to say that I'm proud of this, that we started the KOF chant when KOF started for top 8. That was really fun.
That was awesome.
So after Evo, it started to lax out, but we still kept going with our Rambats. We still kept trying to improve as players, and then last month, Southtown closed. And we had a few visitors that came, like Luis Cha, Romance, and TC Yoshi, who came to the last tournament. And that was a really sad time for a lot of us, because not only was it our home for about a year and a half, we really didn't have anywhere else to go to. I mean, there are other arcades in the area, like Game Center, and there's also Milpitas Golfland, Sunnyvale Golfland, but they weren't hubs for KOF like Southtown was. And gradually, that made a lot of us kind of lose our competitive spirit. It's really hard to find a place for us to meet up again. So throughout this year, I've been trying to be that kind of person to bring people together by allowing us to do casuals and looking for places where we can do that. And also trying to help out a lot with tournaments to get new people in. But that's another story for 2013.
Yeah, man, and yeah, that's been quite an eventful year. Yeah, with that said, I also want to, since we are kind of talking about the future, I want to talk about another scene that recently has really been getting organized and gaining a lot of momentum. And here to talk with us about that is Malik from the Northeast. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
You want to tell us about I guess the past year over there on the East Coast and how things have been shaping up, what's been going down?
Well, let's see. It's been pretty good for me, I guess. Well, as far as KOF, since this is my first KOF, so I didn't know what to come in expecting at all. But I'm glad I'm definitely decided to become a part of this community and everything, because it feels like a brand new home to me, honestly, because I came from playing Melty Blood and stuff, anime games, so I wasn't sure how the transaction would be, and honestly I kind of didn't care, because I was just like, man, I like this game a lot. But I guess when the beginning of the year started, I lived in New York, because I live here, but I'm not from here originally. I'm originally from Georgia, so that's the thing. I kind of communicate with both New York, New Jersey, whoever plays in Philly. I know one or two guys in Georgia as well. So I'm kind of I kind of try to bring all of the East area together, from the South to the North as well. And it's been pretty crazy. Final round, oh man, everyone knows final round.
Yeah, dude, final round this year was so incredible. It had the most entrants outside of Evo, I think.
Yeah, it had 179, right?
It was either 177 or 179. Yeah, it was. Man, I was not expecting that many people to show up. But when I saw guys when I saw Reynold, Deanta, Romance, and Bala show up, I was like, oh, I'm not the type of person to get starstruck or anything, because people are people. But it was just they really came to support KOF. And Juice, I saw Juicebox playing KOF, Combo Fiend playing. I was like, everyone is playing. This is amazing. It felt really good, and to see the energy and just the pure excitement, and everyone just excited to see KOF and stuff. It made my heart very warm, because I helped organize some of the ran two of the pools actually a final round, and I participated as well, and it was just I was proud to be there. Honestly, that's all I can say, and it was crazy. But I'm gonna say now, we just had NEC recently this month, and that was pretty crazy too. I had fun. That was a blast. Everybody knows what happened, with KOF in regards to that. But the tournament itself was still it was ran decently, and we got hype and stuff. When Romance came and Romance and Bala came, and we even had I don't think nobody knows, but James from Chicago, who got second, he went to NEC as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
James Jr.
yeah, we had a lot of support from people. Connecticut always comes too. Lazy Freddy and a few of those guys. Shout outs to them, for constantly coming out. But I feel like East Coast hadn't had like the unity in a while because I don't know if you guys know Marco Polo, but he was trying to do some stuff for a while too. He actually ran a drive cancel regional that had New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia. Rara, Hoshin, all of them come out to New Jersey and play in the tournament. And well, from what I saw, because I was in Georgia at that time, it was a pretty good event. But it didn't feel like there was any unity. So
Dude, I remember that event. That was the event that had like 3 out of 5 for like every match, right? And the grand finals like 4 out of 7 or something.
yeah,
Damn.
format Marco wanted to incorporate that. So that
I mean, that's good that we're experimenting. Like, and that was a pretty hype event. Shout out to Marco Polo, my grad school KOF brother. He's also slaving away in grad school, I think. So yeah.
No, he definitely is. It seems like a lot of people that play KOF are like, this is a trend. I'm finding out.
Yeah, perhaps, dude. We're a smart bunch of guys, right?
Yeah, but
Totally kidding, but yeah, man. So how are things going to be shaping up for the East Coast? You think, like in the next couple months?
Oh, very well, because Bum, the guy who streamed, he's actually very interested in playing the game as well. We were just giving him breakdowns of characters, how the game works, and just helping him out. And he's very intrigued because in case you guys don't know, like East Coast plays a lot of Marvel, like
yeah,
play a lot of Marvel, and being someone like everyone knows to go to the Bum's house and level up and stuff, but he's probably just tired of just playing Marvel because a lot of people don't know Bum came from Smash Brothers Melee. He was like the best Donkey Kong or something like that. Someone correct me or whatever, but he was a good player, so he's used to playing other games, not just Marvel, and like the problem with the East Coast scene I felt was it was just a little bit unorganized, and there's other issues too, like with players honestly just being lazy because we have a mass transit system, but people are like, oh well, I don't feel like going this or blah blah blah. But it's like, yo man, like we gotta level our stuff up. We have to unify. Like there's only so many of us. Because you look at the Marvel players and it's like we look at us, it's like man, like not even all of them like each other, but they're unified. Like when they go out of state or anything, like I feel like KOF is like that for East Coast, but not so tightly now. And I'm not gonna see. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I'm trying to just mold everyone together because I just want everyone to be more unified. Like there's not that many of us, so we have to stick together as best as we can, and improve the scene and just work on everything.
Totally, man. I think that's what we're all trying to do, not just in the States but also around the world. And yeah, I think this year has been really great in the sense that we've seen a lot of progress being made, and it's really been kind of a historic, kind of a time, not just for KOF but also for the fighting game community. Like we're really starting to get esports, and I'm not sure if anybody else remembers, but we were in MLG this year. Like that's pretty trippy to look back on. But actually, yeah. Before we talk about some of the crazier moments that I'm sure we all want to get to, why don't we just, Desmond? Do you have anything to add about like the Midwest and how things have been for the Midwest in 2012?
Things have been pretty good. A lot of progress. A lot of good players have came out the woodwork. Just out of nowhere, or either just like coming back to the KOF scene from like past games. Especially up in Chicago. I just came back from a tournament there, Frosty Faustings 5, and Mario E won that, AGE Mario E. And I remember we first met him up at UFGT8, playing on the Mortal Kombat stick. And,
yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a good player. But also even just within my local scene, we having a few new players coming out to play and stuff like that, and they've been good. Like I was so surprised how good they were, and they don't play online that much. They just like read stuff off of wikis and watched SoCal players, on YouTube and stuff like that, and all kinds of other videos. So I've been really, really surprised on how I feel some of these new players have been excelling at the game, with like, I want to say minimal like resources, but just using what's around them to their advantage. You feel me? So yeah, that's one thing that surprised me a lot. But for myself, this whole year has just been just crazy as far as like, learning and stuff, and trying to build a community here and trying to unify things, with Chicago that have been going pretty well. And even Nebraska has a pretty good scene, like one of the players named Jamar. I think he goes by Jamarvelous or something like that. I don't know if any of y'all heard of him.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't just the only Nebraska KOF player that came out, but he was pretty good, and that could probably show me that the rest of his boys from Nebraska is pretty good, and I just hope that we can just keep it going, and you never know, maybe like next year, the Midwest, can be a contender for the for SoCal. You never know if we just keep practicing and honing our skills and stuff like that. We can try to keep up and become a challenge to the rest of the U.S.
Yeah, man, that would be sick. Like, the ideal situation, right, is obviously to have not just players from SoCal traveling out to other majors and winning them, as they've been kind of doing, but the ideal situation is to have top players from every single region, right? And then we can really breed this kind of true sense of competition where we have where everyone's gunning for it. And I think if we can manage to do that, then that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, let's go back and talk about some of the particular moments that really made this year special. So where to start?
I don't know if we got covered like SoCal.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just the
I guess
year
we'll
in
kind of talk
review.
about it a little, but I guess we can go back and talk about, I guess why don't we talk about SoCal throughout the year. So SoCal, TRB started, the runback started really like, it was like late 2011, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if not late 2011, then early 2012.
Yeah, that might be right. It's basically when Marvel got kind of too big to be housed with Street Fighter 4. So
yeah, dude, I remember
happened.
that. And then we had to turn this thing into. There were even a couple events where I think everything was just in one night, right?
It was. I mean, they used to have like SF4 and Marvel and like every other game on the same night, and that was when like they were still transitioning from it was like the Four Seasons Hotel to like the Super Dojo, Super Arcade. That is. Dude, that was like a little small temporary thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Wednesday Night Fights has been like so many different places. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, then it moved to Super Arcade, and then eventually when KOF came out on console, like I think we were all pretty ravenous about getting it into as many events as possible. And then Level Up was nice enough to pick it up, and then TRB obviously went down. We went there a lot, and gosh, so much happened. I remember like even like Bala, The Answer, Romance getting sponsored. That was pretty huge. That happened like earlier in the year, and that's what really kind of enabled them to go all over the place. Reynolds too, getting sponsored. And yeah, then they kind of just went everywhere and won a lot of tournaments. And then, gosh, what else big happened here in SoCal? I had my sessions every week. That was so much fun. That was like the most memorable moment of the year for me, hands down, is like 2 weeks right before Evo, and just by coincidence, like tons and tons of people were in LA. So like I remember on one Tuesday afternoon in my apartment, I literally had like the best players from Chile, Mago, Zerp was there, like everyone was there, like Team Chaos, Luis Cha, and it was just like the most surreal experience just to have all these great like KOF players just chilling in my apartment. That was really, really cool. Oh, and how can I forget Las Vegas? Came out multiple times. Shout outs to Las Vegas. Those guys have really become really, really, really good throughout this year. And yeah, we've been really, really fortunate here to just have like tons and tons of people visit us. And yeah, I mean, now unfortunately the run back is kind of like, I personally can't really talk about the later half of the year Choysauce, because I'm sure I've kind of been like uh, missing in
Yeah, you've been
action. But
busy.
yeah, do you want to talk about like what's been happening and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the last run back, and we actually only had about like 7 people.
Gosh,
And,
that's so sad.
And on top of that, like Bala actually has moved back to Mexico.
Oh yeah,
So
I
this
just heard
is the
about
first
that.
run back he's missed, or at least this is the first run back that's happened since he's moved back. So,
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty recent news. I mean, like it's kind of quiet about it, but like he has some family down there, and well, his wife and his kid, and he's been missing them, so he wants to go back and see them, obviously. So he can't help that. So the
Yeah,
run back
man.
has been a little bit slow. We've been trying to do have measures on trying to increase numbers, and like we'll not sugarcoat things. KOF has been pretty. It's been pretty. Like kind of a little unpopular here, mainly because people are having hard times like finding other people to play. They think, oh, we can only go to the run back to find people to play, and another big problem with that is like the KOF players that are already kind of in the scene for KOF, they're the only ones that play with each other, and it's hard for us to bring new people in. So I'm kind of with Reiki, and I'm really working hard to try to bring in new people. So I think that's like a next step that the scene has to take. But that's kind of like where I'm at, and how I feel like SoCal is at. Like we just gotta get things moving again to bring back the popularity. So
Yeah, I totally feel that, and unfortunately, I can't really comment too much on exactly what's been going down. As I said, haven't been around, but yeah, it definitely seems like what's funny, right? Is that like we have the players. We used to get on average 30 to 40 players every run back.
yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, and they were all dedicated KOF players. As far as I know, none of those guys really moved on to other games and such. But I
Yeah.
guess any given week. What I really personally, just from the few guys that I know, like for instance, Team Chaos is a prime example. They used to come a lot to the run back, and what I really think it is that this whole year before Evo, like Evo is really the turning point where, especially in SoCal, like we were so hungry. Like every single KOF player was just like so ravenous. I remember every week was just be like amazing. Everyone would be like trying so hard to do their best. And I think as a result, we all made a lot of sacrifices to go to the run back, because I'm not sure if people outside of SoCal know this, but the run back location, like Super Arcade, is actually very far away for a lot of the people that used to go there, like including myself. I used to have to drive like, me and some other people who went, like we drove like an hour and a half to get there and then like another hour back, just because, traffic differences and whatnot. But, and guys like Romance and the other guys on Team Chaos, I mean, throughout this whole time, they've all been going to school and working jobs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I can't really speak for them, but I just even for me personally, after Evo, it was kind of like, well, now that all that effort has been put in and all that great stuff happened, it might be back time to kind of take a break and concentrate on the aspects of real life that we've all been neglecting so hard. But maybe that has something to do with it. If anything, though, we're still seeing a couple of new developments. For instance, I know Team Chaos is starting their KOF Innovation stream, which has aired their first couple episodes.
It's playing right now.
Yeah, it's actually done now.
That's awesome. So yeah, definitely hope they continue doing that. And now I feel like KOF, as far as the few casual sessions I've been to, it's kind of like split more into kind of LA and the OC. Are like the two kind of central hubs. We're almost like splitting into two scenes.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it's kind of is out here. Like
yeah, so I think as long as we all have our individual kind of like we have our meets down here at UC Irvine, and then LA has some kind of regular meetup. I think we can keep this going and maybe even grow into something bigger than it even was. But that's that's me being optimistic, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I have a question for everybody regarding this year. Why don't we try to talk about the various tournaments that we've entered in as a player, or even more as like, you know, an observer, and like talk about like what kind of placings we got, or if there was certain like players you met that did well or whatever like that. You know, we can start all the way from like the top of the year into now, like, you know, as sort of like a reflection back. You know,
dude, I have so many stories of myself getting blown up super hard. But yeah, anybody want to start? Colts, Choysauce.
Well, for me, as you guys know, it's difficult for us Mexicans to go over there and participate in the tournaments that have the most viewers. But as part of the community, I have always been like from this side, except in the Mexican tournament. So I know what those guys who can't go to the tournaments and to the events feel when we are we're watching this stuff. And let me tell you, final round was freaking hyped, and in my personal believing, it was where everything started around KOF. That's where people blow out and start to pay attention to these growing expectations up to Evo. And in particular, my favorite moment in 2012 on KOF was the fight of CJ Masta against Bala. It was freaking amazing, and I have talked with Bala many times about that fight, and he says that dude beat me. The first match we have, and he totally kills me with Athena, and I was like, I don't know what to do. That's why he was so patient when selecting his character for the next team, and then Benny comes back and do all Joe, goes in there, make that amazing stunning 100% stun combo in front of the crowd going nuts, and I was like jumping in my room, because when our guys play over there, is like where Mexico national team is playing over there. Everybody who is around the fighting game community just stop and start cheering for them and going nuts. It was amazing. And other than that, sorry guys. Other than that, oh crap! Sorry.
Damn, Colt, you must have like.
Yeah, I know.
are you smoking over there, man?
They're World Healthcare. I told you.
Oh man.
So hype that you're losing your voice.
No. Let's cut now, because then I won't have anything in the fighting game community. I suck at all games. Then CEO was amazing too. Everything around CEO was awesome, and that CEO final round and Evo were the events that I really felt pain of not being there with the Pulse, because I knew many players that were around there, and I just wanted to be there, and it was just amazing. Final round, CEO, and of course Evo was crazy. It was amazing. Even the way it started for my friends over there, I was very, very concerned, because the answer just say, the guys from Korea are calling us for a fight right now. We're going to Vegas right now, and they just jump into the car and drive over to Vegas, caring for nothing. And I was in a way very worried, because they were drinking. And I was like, dude, I hope these guys don't die in the way to Las Vegas, because it's gonna suck that all of our pals are going to die over there. So for me, really, those three events were amazing, and I have to say, most of you guys really do an amazing job for us that can't go to those events, hosting them, streaming them, creating a community that maybe cannot be closed physically, but around the streams and around everything that goes on our computer screens just makes the community grow. And that's something I personally want to say thanks to David Kong and to all of you guys for bringing this to the guys that are so far away that just can't be part of it.
Oh, dude, you don't owe me any thanks, man. I just show up and have fun like the rest of them. The guys who really deserve the thanks are like the tournament organizers, guys like Keats and Jabali and all those other dudes putting in their time, and the streamers, like Level Up and Spook. Those guys really make it possible for the rest of us to go in there and do our thing. But yeah, man, those are some excellently hype moments. Let's go to Reiki. Reiki, tell us about some of your personal tournament experiences and memorable wins, losses, etc.
Well, let's see. Throughout the year, most of the tournaments I've gone to have been local. Like, I've been to Southtown Arcade or Game Center and played some of their tournaments there. The only major that I've ever been to is probably NorCal Regionals and Evo. That's about it. I think really memorable wins. I was playing against CJ Soulstar and Tyrum when they came over to Southtown, and CJ was on a roll that day. He'd beaten Hell Pockets. I'm pretty sure he was on his way to beating Felix, and the only person in losers at that time that could face off against Tyrum and CJ was me. So I beat Tyrum, and then I beat CJ in a really close match. And I think they have a video of me posing in front of the camera and then like slitting my throat with my thumb and then giving them the thumbs down. It was really cool.
Dude, I remember that. That was great.
It was really hype. I really liked it. NorCal Regionals, I went up against Blandwolf and I won that match. It was the first time I played him. He was really good. I can't remember how close it was or what was going on in the match, but I felt like he was really nervous, so it's not something that I hold up against him. When I faced off against you, David, I felt like I had no idea how to play against King.
Oh yeah, we did play at NorCal Regionals, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
So when I faced off against your King, it just felt really frustrating. I didn't have any way of dealing with it. So after that time, I started picking up King, and I feel like that really brought me into learning more about that character, and also learning about other characters in a way that if I play them, then I won't lose to them as easy. Let's see. Who did I play in Evo? I played against Warrock and Combo Fiend. I had Combo Fiend my first round. Let's see. I think I lost against Combo Fiend, not like OCV wise, but we were playing at least 10 matches before we actually had to play in pools. So he really figured me out really fast, and he's a really great player. But I worked my way all the way up through losers in my pools till I got to Warrock, and I just couldn't get past him. I really wanted to beat him though, and I was close, but just couldn't get it. But I feel like that was an accomplishment for me, because I feel like at the beginning of the year I probably wouldn't have gotten past pools. But to get all the way to the end of my pools to face off against Warrock was a really big achievement.
Cool, man. That's excellent. Choysauce, what about you, man? Memorable wins and losses?
Oh man, I remember some of the more memorable losses that I've had. I think the most notable ones would probably be some of the last couple of tournaments I was at when I faced off against Ricardo, and not this past week, but the two previous tournaments. One was like at UCI, and one was at the Runback. Both of those, I think it was kind of like a back-to-back thing, and it was down to the last game, last character, last pixel for both of those games, and like both of our hearts are like out of our chests, like for those matches. But somehow he always just inched it out, for those two, and like for me it was kind of a proud moment, because it's like, Ricardo is definitely one of the better players out here. And I felt like, since I gave him such a hard time, and like I was pretty much just about to beat him, like I feel like I'm getting pretty much I'm getting up there, I'm getting better as a player. But yeah, I mean, those are kind of like what I remember for my notable losses. But for notable wins, I think, I don't know, off the top of my head would probably be like whenever I beat any of like the I don't know, some of the SoCal guys that usually beat me, like I think like usually like Yu Hang or like Duck or like even Oscar, Like sometimes I can like inch out wins against them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, got him. You know?
I can
So,
totally relate to that, dude.
yeah,
Same
man.
feeling.
It's so stressful to fight against them, and then you know to get some of the wins that I got, it was like it felt really good, you know, to know that, you know, I was able to do it. And I know the tournaments that I've been to, I actually entered the very first KOF tournament for SCR. I remember, I think it might have been like just last year, and I went like 2-2, which I was pretty proud of because like I had the game for like 2 days. I'm like, yeah, beat a couple people, yeah, what's up? And then and I went to NCR, and I think I was like 2 away from like getting out of pools. And I remember I lost to DJ Hoshin is the one that knocked me out, and I was really upset about that because it was like a big mistake on my part, and like I just got like really nervous, so like he just like shunned me. So and then for Evo, I remember I remember the pools, they were like super free. Like all of them were shirt monsters for sure. I was like, I could have played with one hand, and I like beat all these guys. I like OC beat them. I like whenever I won, I like switched characters to whoever I wanted to on the front, and just like, you know, just played whoever. And then when we got to the second bracket, that's when, you know, things got a little tough. And I ran into Oscar, and you know, he was just like on point that day, and he just destroyed me. And I was like, damn it, why did I have to play Oscar? So. And then after that, I had to play Kusanagi from Mexico, and
he's
like,
good.
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't he the
And now
multiplayer?
he's better.
Yeah, he whooped my ass. Like I played Vice at the time, and I was just doing all this like really bad like random stuff. Like he would catch all my jump CDs and like, you know, anti-air me with crouch Bs, and his K dash was like the best K dash I've ever played. Like it was like, yeah, I couldn't do anything about it. But
dude, you know what I love about Kusanagi is that he, you know, Kusanagi is like the evil version of Kyo from 2002 and I think even when he plays Kyo in 13, he picks like the dark, like evil Kyo looking color.
Yeah, he does.
It's really cool.
Nice.
It's like really cool throwback.
And he's the only Kula standing here in Mexico's here right now.
Really, he plays Kula too? That's interesting. But, yeah, let's. How about you, Malik? Tell us about memorable wins, losses, tournaments.
Let's see. Well, it was actually I'm iffy about that. Like, it was a progressive year, I would definitely say. Like my first tournament, I think it was my first tournament. Yeah, my first tournament I ever entered. I got like 5th or something. And the second one, it was a local in Georgia. I think I actually won that one. I won that one pretty easily because I had been like cracking out on the game. So, and there was another one I got 3rd. I lost to a guy. I don't know if anyone like plays Third Strike or anything like that or other games. Raishin X. I lost to him and this other guy named Blaze. They're pretty good local players. Flying around, I didn't do so hot because like. I made like the biggest mistake ever. I entered like 3 games, and I tried to be an organizer. Like, never doing that again. Never doing that again. It was awful. Ran on like fuel sleep, so like I went 0-2 at final round, and that wasn't display at all. Cause like it was funny actually. I ran into one of the guys who beat me at final round at a later local event. And he was like, "Yo, I beat you at final round." He was like, "How did I even beat you?" Like, you know, I was just like, "Hey, man, you know, like that's how it is sometimes." Like, you know, I was running on fumes of sleep. You know, being staff and trying to play this, it's not easy. Like,
yeah, especially at a major like that. That's insane, man.
Yeah, I didn't know I was gonna do so much work, but you know, like, I was a little mad, but you know, When I saw the top 16, I was like, oh man, yeah, that was worth it. Like, you know, all the hard work. Let's see. There was another tournament series, Final Rambats, ATL Final Rambats. That was supposed to be for like a trip to go to Japan or something like that. I entered one of them. I went all right. I think I went like 3-2 or 2-2. I had stick problems with that as well. I got to get a new arcade stick. I hate equipment malfunctions. But one of the guys, he was one of Florida's best is Zoe. He goes by Alphonse.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Alfonso's my homie, man. That guy's super good.
We actually had a close match. It was 2-1. I still remember that match. So, and I lost to another guy. Kent, I think his name is. I don't know if he still goes by Riox, but he's gotten pretty good as well. And like I usually beat him because I actually slept on him a bit because I was like, oh, you're gonna do the same things you always do. This is gonna be free. And, even with my broken equipment, I got a little cocky in the head, and he was so determined to beat me. Like I was getting a little like intimidated. I'm like, whoa, this guy really wants to beat me. Like, what did I do to upset him like this? Like, oh, I'm kind of sorry. Like, but like, it was a close set, but like that's when I was still like getting in control of stuff. I still am, but he beat me. It was close. So I had to take that knowledge. And then, like, it was at 3 tournaments? Yeah, let's see, the local one. I came up here and played in the Kumite, which is a local monthly series. I guess you could call it monthly. Ran at Next Level. Everyone knows Next Level. So, I got second in that, actually. In my first, that was my first breakout tournament in, being up north. Before I moved back to Georgia, I hadn't played in the tournament because I was still in the game. But, like, everyone came up to me when they saw me beat one of the local threats, Pachu KOF, because I beat him 2-0, and people were like, "Yo, who is this guy? Like, is he a secret boss or something like that?" It was boss. Funny. And like I lost Lazy Freddy from Connecticut, and I was like, "Oh man, who is this?" Because I was probably thinking like what everyone was thinking about me. I was like, "Who is this guy? I've never heard of him. Like, I'm not gonna sleep on him, but whatever." I ended up losing. I lost in winners finals. I think it was 3-0. It was semi-close, but and I won losers finals against my boy A3 Religion. I think it was 3-0 or 3-1, and I had to play a Freddy again, but I just couldn't beat him that time because I didn't know how to deal with Benny Maru. Like that's been my demon for a while. Like I'd much rather fight a Hua in a karate than a Benny, just because like I'm big on anti-airing, so like he's got that stupid.
You can't anti-air Benny Maru,
dude. He lives in the air, man.
Yeah, dude, that jump D.
Yeah, that
like
jump.
all hitbox, no hitbox.
No, what are you gonna do about it? But I got beat by that and stuff, and it was just like all right, never again. So I did that, and I actually got my vengeance because the next tournament I went to, I played in Connecticut, and me and Freddie met up in like winter semis of that tournament, and I beat him 2-0, and I actually had figured out the Benny stuff, and I had figured out his strategy too. I basically I picked Clark and I put him in a blender. That was that was pretty much all I did. He was just like, how do I fight this character? I was like, yeah, I got to spacing that. So and I lost to Chris G basically twice in that tournament too. Like I slept on him a bit because I was just like, oh, he doesn't play the game that much. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like he exposed my really bad habit at the time. Like so obvious. I look back and I was just like, I can't do that again. But I had to play Freddie in losers finals in that tournament too, and he actually put a set on me. I got a little scared, so I had to just reevaluate that, and I beat him 3-1, and I felt good to convincing. How you beat someone, but you're not sure, but like when you get to run it back again, you beat them like a bit more convincingly. You feel feel better about yourself. So I went on to lose to Chris G. I think 3-0, and that was bad. I think I had another tournament other than that. Nah, I went straight to NEC. I got 5th in NEC.
Nice, man.
Thank you. I lost to Bala and our boy Zidane, who's are like pretty much the best on the East Coast. Like I'm not gonna say hands down, but he's just playing that guy, man. He's crazy. Like he's really good. He's really good.
Awesome, yeah, man. I've seen Zidane's name pop up once in a while, dude. I really hope that Zidane plays Raiden, so you can go up to people and press close C because do the headbutt.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was lame. But yeah, Desmond, what about you, man? Memorable wins and losses this year?
Oh man, where to start? All right, well, January played my first local tournament, didn't do well, got 5th place. Let's see, I went to final round. I went like 2-2 or something like that. I think I lost to one of the dudes from NorCal or something like that. But I really wanted to get out my pool, but it didn't happen. But the whole time I was there in Atlanta, it was so much fun, man. Like the casuals, like the people I met. I met Reynold and Bala and Romance and a couple other players, and it was a lot of fun. Like one of the memorable moments was actually a day before when the singles was going to start. We were all playing in that one room. It was myself with a couple other people that I met playing with a lot of the top players, and it just showed like how close knit and and friendly the KOF community is. They weren't trying to like hustle us or anything like that. I was just sitting on the bed next to Bala and Romance, what I'm saying, playing casuals. There was no ego, there was no like, yo, get out this room, y'all suck type of mentality. It was just a lot of love, and it was really, really cool, what I'm saying? And I remember I think Dark Geese was in there too, and Juicebox, and Answer was in there, and I think who else was up in there? Just like so many people just in that one room playing. And even during like the finals day, I was kind of like sitting with these cats from North Carolina, and these dudes was just so hype. What I'm saying? Every time somebody will get KO, they'll just like sing in unison, like blown up. And it was so like it was so much fun, man. Like I think final round was just like one of the highlights for me for the year. So after final round, I think I went to Power Up to help run the 5v5. It was between Team Dream Council and I think Team Power Up, which was led by Osiren. But I think A Visions, I don't know if you remember us talking to him.
Yeah, I remember A Visions, man. He was on like one of the first episodes we did.
Yeah, he was team captain. And we did that off stream because like there was some issues with the power that day. And we did that, I think, a day before the singles. And that was a lot of fun. We actually, there's some videos online. I think it was captured by Lord, what's his name? He's going to kill me, man. His name's...
See, that's why you don't even mention it.
No, forget it. Lord Hollow, Kevin Hicks. He recorded a lot of the 5v5 matches, and that was a lot of fun. But in a tournament, I didn't do so hot. But I met a lot of cool players. It was a cool venue. I think after that, I went to UFGT. Where you and
that's where we met each other for the first time.
Yeah. It was real cool, and we had the little Minnesota room or whatever, and in that tournament, like it was a lot of fun as well. I did not do good at all there, man. Like I don't know why.
Neither did I.
Yeah, dude. Like what I should have done, dude. We should have just prepared a little better, man. We should have woke up at like 6 a.m. And just started playing. No matter if we was hungry as hell, what I'm saying. We should have just been like grinding. You know what I'm saying. But that tournament I did not do well. I got a bye. Then I lost to some dude named Danke from Illinois. And then I lost to Zerp, and after that, it was a wrap. I was just done for the whole like tournament, man. But I just had a lot of fun playing casuals. And let's see. After that, I think I won like 2 local tournaments in a row. And then after that, I started trying to build the community more here in Minnesota. I think I took a break from traveling for a bit. I think after a while, I just decided to just focus on building things here and practicing, pretty much. And I think after watching Evo, things got so hype. Watching a lot of other events and stuff. Like I think even though like things kind of like slow down after Evo, like I did feel that like maybe like we did need to to take a break. And plus like during the half of the year, the other half, there's all these holidays and stuff coming up. You know what I'm saying? So and people are like going back to school and stuff like that, and people are trying to graduate, people trying to work extra hours and stuff like that, trying to go out of town, visit family. So I mean, even though things are slowing down, like I think real life kind of gets in the way. But I mean, like the last tournament I've been to, I already like talked about this, was Frosty Fostings. Pretty good tournament. I got 5th out of 26. One of my guys named Grublet got 4th. And yeah, I think this year I learned a lot, man. I think I just need to be more patient, with my play style. I have to get these freaking HD combos down, pat to a T, like do it like 10 times in a row, 20 times or whatever. I've been, I still watch matches. I try to analyze them as much as I can. My team has been solidified a bit. I now play with like EX Iori, Benimaru Shin, King, Normal Kyo, and Kim, and I play some extra characters on the side. But those 6 that I've named, I've just been kind of practicing, and hopefully next year I can just keep things going. I'll try to travel. Maybe I don't want to say I want to travel less, but I might have to focus on things a bit here. But I will try to, I would like to go to Evo, 2013, for KOF13, and we'll see what else is coming up. But as far as like my progression, I think I've had, gotten a lot better. I bet if I transport myself now to the beginning of the year, then started going to tournaments again, I'll probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But that's life. So let's just keep things going. And yeah, I think that's about it for like my whole like tournament kind of adventure and pilgrimage for 2012.
Awesome, dude. That was great. I'll just talk briefly about some of my experiences too. I have some really funny stories. I think I have 2 very memorable wins this past year. The first one being when I went up to NorCal Regionals, and it wasn't even in tournament. I got like 3-2 in the tournament. But the most memorable win I had up in NorCal was when I played a casual like 1st to 5 set against Tyram. And not to put him on blast or anything, much love to Tyram, and shout outs to Ram Nation. But I remember at SoCal Regionals, I had been talking a whole mess of smack to like everybody. This is back when I was less wise and younger. And this was last year. Let's be real. But no, I think I've learned a lot as a player, and I think I've matured a lot as a person as a result. But I was talking a lot of smack, and NorCal came down and totally bopped me, and so to redeem myself, I really felt like, going up to NorCal was kind of like, felt like the Crusades, man. I got to like reclaim the Holy Land or something, right? So it was like really intense about it, and I went up there, and I ended up losing Algaio Negro and LPN at the time, and those are good matches. But yeah, then I played Tyram that night later on at Hellfox's place, and I beat him 5-1, and the best part, the most lovable thing about Tyram is that he will always talk trash to you no matter no matter how bad he is, right? Because like whatever competition he enters, he always just kind of go off, which makes things very enjoyable. But I ended up beating him 5-1, and then he couldn't say anything for the rest of the night. So that was like, yeah, that was like my Rocky Balboa moment of redemption right there. That was cool. And then let's see, the most memorable loss I think throughout the whole year. I'll get to the other win later, but the most memorable loss was definitely at UFGT, and this was because so this is like the first major I'd like paid all my own money for to travel to out of state, like significantly, had to fly to and all that kind of stuff. So I met up with you guys at UFGT, and I was like so hardcore like into doing well. I was like just had my mindset on doing well, but then that night, like meeting all these Midwest players I'd never met before, and meeting Zerp and these guys, there was like a bar at the hotel, and for those people who know me, they know I like to have a couple drinks once in a while. But ended up just staying up all night, stayed up till like probably 3 or 4 in the morning, just like drinking and partying and playing KOF with like Zerp and these guys from Illinois. And although that was like the one of the most fun weekends ever. Like I woke up the next morning and I like had this pounding headache, and it was just awful. And but I was like, you know what? I just got to power through it. I got to play my matches. Ended up playing terribly. I think I went 1-2. I ended up losing to Flocker, who ended up getting top 8, I think, or top 16 if not top 8. And I also ended up losing to Ranma Sama, who's a Marvel player who at the time didn't even play KOF. And I felt really, really bad about that. Even after the match, he came up to me. He's like, dude, like, why'd you lose to me? Like, I don't even play this game. Like, you just played horribly. I'm like, dude, you're right. Like, I totally screwed up. And that was, like, the learning experience of a lifetime. That really taught me, like, if I'm going to invest this much to, like, practice and then go out to tournaments, I really got to make sure to take care of myself when I'm there. And so I learned my lesson really well. I went out to CEO. I went 2-2, which isn't very impressive, but I was really satisfied with my results because every match I played was like really, really good. I ended up losing like extremely close matches to Master CJ and Carlos, the Miami player who got top 8. And both matches came down to like last match, last round, last character, like last little fraction of the life bar, and it was just like super intense. And yeah, I'm really glad I had that experience. So totally satisfied with that. And then the best win of the year for me by far was at Evo when I ran through my pool and I made it out in the winners. And like Choysauce said, a lot of it was free. Actually, most people in my pool were completely inexperienced except for the person I fought in winners finals, which was this player all the way from France. And that match was so great, just because all of his French like buddies were standing right behind him. They're all wearing their like sponsored like team jerseys and stuff. There was like seriously esports, right? and they were all just like rooting for him in French. I ended up beating him, and it was a pretty good game. But I think I still won convincingly. And at the end of it, I was like, it took like maybe 10 seconds to settle in. But as soon as I stood up after shaking his hand, I was like, yes, oh my god, I just like made it out of my pool at Evo. Like it was like a surreal experience, man. And I think that moment right there was like the best moment I've ever had playing fighting games, just because it was like this kind of the most suitable kind of culmination of all this effort and everything, that all the time and the hours that you put in. And now I can look back and say I got top 64 at Evo 2012, and that's like something that I'll have like for the rest of my career as a gamer, right? And that was so cool. I mean, right afterwards, I ended up losing to Oscar, and then right after that, I lost to Karu. He's obviously a legendary player, and he totally bopped me. And a video of that's online. But yeah, that basically kind of sums up my year of tournaments and my experiences there. So yeah, it was really, really memorable. And now after that, I kind of had to crawl under this mountain of school and work and whatnot. So hopefully I can get back to it later on in 2013.
Very, very cool. All right, here's one kind of question for everybody regarding 2012. What do you think needs to be improved upon for 2013? Like, I know this has been like a good year, but every fighting game scene, always wants to, improve or whatever, what I'm saying, to the best that they can be, even for themselves personally or even as a community. So, like, why don't we start with Reiki.Kito, because I know you did the KOF interest survey and you got a lot of interesting results. So why don't we just talk about how we can make things better for KOF 13 in 2013? And you can go ahead, Reiki.Kito.
Reiki.
Yeah. Reiki.Kito. My bad.
No, okay. Reiki. That's just the thing Desmond does. How he says wiki instead of wiki.
Yeah, I say Sakai instead of Psyche or whatever.
Yeah, dude, that was like the
it's okay. You might be surprised, but a lot of people mispronounce my tag, so it's okay. So, like Desmond was talking about, I've been running a survey to kind of get an idea of what people all around the world want out of KOF in terms of playing it, in terms of watching it, in terms of just what we can do more with. So, out of the survey, I got about 413 responses. And I can just go off the top 3. So, my first question is, what would make you more interested in playing KOF? The top 3 responses were casual events, with almost 70% of people reporting that. The next one was frequent streamed events. It doesn't even matter if it's a tournament. 50% of the people that did the survey said that they want to see streams every week, either once a week or twice a week. And the third most important thing for them to get to play this game is that they want help from top players. They want more info. See, a lot of the people that play the game feel that they don't have enough information to be competitive in the game. The next question was, what would make you more interested in watching KOF? And it was a really big tie. Like, I had about 5 responses, and all of them were very close. But the top 3 were commentary at 66%. They wanted more commentary in all of the events that were streamed. The next thing, with about 53% of people reporting, was a KOF dedicated stream. Specifically, a lot of the streams that have KOF aren't exactly dedicated, so they don't see the whole tournament. They probably see about top 4, top 3, but not like the whole thing. And a lot of people were very interested in that, and they really want to get that. The next thing was informational videos. Things in different media aside from writing could help out a lot of people who just need to actually see it. And as you notice, there are a lot of combo videos out there, but it's not a lot of technology. And I feel that Romance and Luis Cha and Yoshi are on the right track by providing information not just for combos, but also for setups and matchup experience, stuff like that. The next category was, where's the main place you go to watch, learn, or talk about KOF? And the top one was streams. That was about 61% of the people that did the survey said that they learned things from Level Up Live, I Play Winner, Offcast. And the second one, with 51%, was Dream Cancel. Everyone else was in the 30s or lower. So, what I'm saying here is that they don't really get anything from videos or informational videos, and the second highest thing is Dream Cancel. But for the most part, in order to get information from top players, they have to watch them play. And that's sad, because for the most part, you don't get top players talking about, okay, I do this, or you should do that, or this is how I think this character should be played, or this is how I feel that you should play against this character like this. No, for the most part, you have to actually watch them do it on stream, or you're never going to learn. And that was a big problem. So yeah, like I said, I got about 413 people to respond to this, and these are the results so far.
All right, pretty cool. Yeah, very, very interesting. I remember reading through that like spreadsheet, and I read like almost every single one, and yeah, I saw like a lot of like consistent like results, and I pretty much agree with it. As far as like people watching streams, like honestly for me, like the way I learn is from watching match videos. You know what I'm saying? You have to like see it in front of your face, and you can pause the video, you can rewind it, you can see what they did wrong or exactly what they did. You can test it out for yourself. So I pretty much agree with that. And as far as written information, I mean, yeah, I agree with that too. Sometimes like I said, you have to see things, you have to see a live example. Sometimes like people don't like to read. It could be as detailed and as good as it could be, but sometimes people just want to see things. So yeah, I definitely agree. And yeah, thanks for putting that together. That was I thought it was a really good idea.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So why don't we see Malik, man, what do you think we should improve upon for 2013 to make things better for the KOF scene?
Yeah, I mean, we've already, I know in the forum we discussed this a lot, just getting more, I guess, feeding stuff to the newer players more, just getting more information and stuff out available, because I feel like, there's another thing too, because there was another player, a new player that was at the gathering. You know, I feel like a lot of them are just afraid to ask questions. I don't know why. I guess they feel like, like top player elitism kicks in or whatever. Like, with Marvel or Street Fighter, whatever it may be. But like I feel like no one's like that, because if you really want to know something, you just ask a question. Like, people will try to give you the best answer that they can give you. So, but I guess like we should put more information out there and stuff, more tutorials for certain things, like how for Yuri players there's the butt loop tutorial and stuff. So that's really good information to have out on YouTube, especially so people can watch it on the train, on the way to work, on their devices and stuff. I think we need to make more tutorials for certain things as well. Like, like I was saying, I'm still gonna make the EX Yuri how to empty cancel tutorial. That should be done either this week or the week of next week. We need more tutorials on how high level high level play is just breakdowns of situations. I think like with certain matches and stuff like that, because people will see things, like a lot of the newer players, they'll see things and not understand what the players are trying to achieve with certain actions and stuff like that as well. Like they're like, oh man, that looks so cool, blah blah blah. But they try to replicate it. Why doesn't it work for me? I don't understand. So I think just like giving more details and just more in-depth information, that would definitely help a lot. Cause I guess that's it for now. Like, I can't really think of anything else other than those two things. Just making more tutorials for certain techniques and breakdowns of matches. I think those are the two biggest things that will help a lot of the up and coming players, the players trying to learn. Because with those two things alone, you can learn a lot. And with breakdowns of setups and stuff like that, like how Louis Shaw and Romance doing their KOF Innovation stream. That's really good stuff too, because you can learn just by watching. Like, oh, that's what they're trying to do, or hey, maybe I should incorporate this, or I should try to master this tech myself and try to apply it.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you about the tutorial videos, man. Especially like all the combo videos that are out, dude. It's like sometimes like a combo video comes out like every week or something like that, and I feel that just showing combos, like, that's cool and all, but you have to show how to land it, you know what I'm saying, or what position, that it's good to use in or whatever like that. I even think like people need to know how to like use their normals with their character more, you know what I'm saying?
That's basic in like any fighting game. Like, I'm a Street Fighter player, so like that's like one of the first things I learned. Like, oh, okay, what's the hitbox of this normal right here? What's the range of that? And
Right. I mean, but I feel like even in KOF, people still don't really know, man, because like in this game, a lot of the normals are very situational. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
karate's 5D.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I definitely feel that tutorials videos needs to be a little bit more specific, and and to show players how to kind of mount an offense and to kind of put up a good defense as well. But yeah, moving along, Colt, man, what do you think we need to do to kind of push KOF 13 into 2013?
Well, what I really think the community needs right now is to start thinking on a little lower level. What do I mean by this? Most of the possible players that are going to jump into KOF have been Capcom players for all of their lives, and they don't know the basics about KOF. For example, the hopping. In my personal point of view, hopping in KOF is like vital. If you want to play KOF, you have to master the skill of hopping. So I will try to do those kind of tutorials of little tricks. How can you do it on control, on a pad? How can you do it on a arcade stick? And start growing from them, trying to educate the community to learn the basics of KOF. First of all. Second, I will go with workshops, like this good player is is gonna show new players how to play KOF and giving them tips of punctual things and punctual spots that the certain characters can do, and what characters what characters new players may try to get an idea of a grappler in KOF, or of a main projectile character in KOF, and that kind of stuff. I think the biggest barrier in KOF right now is the difference in what is KOF and what is a Capcom normal game. I believe that barrier has been the one keeping the people away, and of course because KOF needs more dedication to improve. There are not like easy way outs in this game. It's like always you need to be on your top game, because if you don't, you're gonna get kicked. And making that happen is gonna be difficult for newcomers. KOF is a very, very cruel game for newcomers. And when you go to this place, here for example in Mexico City, the Zapata Arcade, a big KOF temple, even the guys who play there call themselves Team Templo, they are very, very, very harsh on newcomers. They don't teach you anything. Some guys in 2002 pick Kula and they tell you, I'm gonna beat you with just one button, and they just press B B B B B B B and they beat you with one button.
That's great, man.
And that's something that has been keeping the people, new players here in Mexico, away from the community. But right now, players are starting to watch that. The fact, guys, is that we all are growing old. The fighting game community is growing old, and if we don't start generating new players, this stuff is not gonna last until we are 50 years old. And at least in my case, that we're not very far away from that. So. Right now, we need to start generating new players for all the fighting game community, and of course, KOF has a very hard work over there because it's not an easy game. There is no X Factor, there is no Ultra who can save you. It's the truth, and right now, in my very personal point of view, players are a lot more lazier than they were when we were young.
Oh yeah.
So. We have to break that laziness by showing how this freaking game is awesome. Freaking awesome and hyped. And I listened to some of the stuff the poll was saying, and it's totally true. People from here, from Mexico, normally have the language barriers. Sometimes they don't understand what it's saying on the streams. The possibility, when people start saying that there will be a sub option on Twitch, people was going crazy. Yeah, we're gonna listen commentary for us and that kind of stuff. So those barriers are like keeping the communities apart, and we need to break those communities by going to things to things that are on a very low level, maybe for top players, but for newcomers are essentials. And I think that's what we need to address right now.
Oh man, good. That's very good. I agree with a lot of the points you made. I think one thing, like I agree, man. I think a lot of what makes people scared to play, man, especially new players, is like the whole stigma that KOF is hard. You know, like I've heard that so many times. You know what I'm saying? And like at the same time, like when people say that, I be trying to think like, hey, it ain't that hard. But you know, in the back of my mind, I'm trying to think about how I started, and I'm like, man, it was rough. You know, when I first started playing. You know, but I feel that as long as you take the dedication and time, and apply logical reasoning to things, and you kind of study as much as you can improve. You know, and I agree with a lot of points you made, El Cole. So, Choysauce, man, you're up next. How do you think we should tackle 2013 for KOF 13, vice versa?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things I think we can improve. But I'll start with what I feel like is top priority. We've kind of gone over how I feel what is the top priority, mainly with the whole needing new players. We definitely need new players to come into the scene. I was talking with John, was at Mr. KOF the other night, and we were saying like, I told him numbers are pretty low, blah blah blah. I'm trying to get new people in, and he's saying, yeah, man, it's like we're a bunch of like old guys. There ain't no kids playing KOF right now, so. Like, definitely that's high on my priority list. I want to try to get new players in. And I feel like, like what Colt is doing, with the workshops, that is a great way to do it. Because, not just, being players and, fighting each other and, trying to become better and, become really good at this game. We're all friends, This is, part of what being a community is. We all like support each other and like not just with the playing the game, but also in other aspects. We all eventually become friends, and we all hang out and do things together. But one of them happened to be would be like playing KOF. So with that, I feel like the approach to like workshops is like we want people to meet other people and have them meet each other, and we can just have a lot of fun in that sense. That's mainly why we play these games. It's a lot of fun. And also with the with Reiki, the survey, they said that they really want a lot of like tutorials and things, and they want to learn through like videos. Because honestly, videos is probably the easiest way to teach people, and like because it's like easy to digest. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to like imagine, there's this combo written down, like, I have to like imagine what the normals look like, and I have to turn on my system and see, where do I time this move and do that. No, you just, let a video do all the work for you. So, I know that Yuhang is trying to. I think he's gonna try to start something where like he's gonna gather up a bunch of the character specialists and kind of go over like really in-depth like character tutorials. So, I kind of want to, definitely get into that and help out with as much as I can with that if I can. It's a sneak peek of that. I don't know if he has plans on like revealing it or not. So like, beans have been spilled, I guess, right now. But but definitely, I feel like that's important. Because there's definitely not enough exposure and not enough media for KOF. Like streams and all. Like, because I feel like when it feels like there's a lot of exposure in that sense, it feels like the scene is huge, because there's Marvel, there's Street Fighter everywhere, there's like 20 streams of it, and you think like, man, there's so many people playing this game, I should learn this game. But KOF, it's like right now we have like KOF innovations going on right now, and that's the only one I can think of that would be happening, and like that's only like 3 guys playing, and like it's like it makes the scene look really small, So like even for me, like when I hear about these other scenes like in the Midwest and the East Coast, I don't have no idea what's going on over there, and it feels like I don't know. There's like 2 people playing over there. That's what it feels like to me, because I have no idea what's going on. So like I think getting that out there will make the scene feel a lot bigger, or show actually how big it actually is, because it's definitely a lot bigger than we think it is. That's for sure. So, those are the like top 2 priorities for me, like the training videos and like holding sessions and workshops for people to make it more accessible for them. So,
all right, cool, man.
Yeah.
David, your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I totally want to just echo what everyone else has been saying. These are all great ideas. And one thing that really struck me is the fact that in Reiki and Faticon's survey, the number 1 response is more casual sessions, and that really rings with my personal experience. Just because out of all the things that I've done to try to get my friends into KOF and stuff like that, I think the most effective was back in LA when I was hosting sessions every week, and it was a very open session. It was like, just come if you want, everyone can come. And that can be kind of scary to do, and that can be very inconvenient, because it's kind of like, who are these people coming into my house and sitting on my furniture, right? But I think if anybody out there in any part of the country, any part of the world wants to grow a KOF scene, I think that is the number 1 place to start. Is you got to be that guy, or somebody has to be that guy to be like, hey, everybody, come on over, and everyone's welcome. Let's all get together and play KOF, right? And I think, just from my own experience, you'll be pleasantly surprised about how awesome that can be, and how effective that can be in terms of getting new players together, and even maybe just building. That your place could become that hub for your community, right? And that's necessary. And then second, like what Choysauce just says, I think every region needs at least one guy who streams KOF reliably and who does it semi-professionally. Has a decent stream quality with decent equipment. And one streamer can go a long way. One streamer can stream at multiple locations if you have multiple kinds of gatherings and stuff. I know, like, for instance, a couple of the guys that run around all the time in SoCal and stream KOF consistently are guys like Offcast and guys like Arturo, Dax. Those guys, just individuals, a few guys with the willingness or the ability or the equipment to like make this stuff happen can go a long way, and these are the guys that eventually are responsible for the growth of the scene, I guess. And obviously, things like videos and all that are important, but I think they're secondary to having these real spaces, like these real life places and times where people meet up and actually play the game together. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Very cool. Now, going alongside this topic, about getting players to improve and stuff like that, and hosting sessions and stuff. It's kind of a controversial kind of topic, and it's something that we haven't even talked about yet. But as far as like online play, people say like, "Yo, if the netcode was good, like, we'll have like KOF wouldn't be all slow like it is now and stuff like that." But as far as like the netcode being very like inconsistent for the game, do y'all think like in any sort of way like it kind of forces people just to get together or something like that? Like, what do y'all think like individually like about just like playing online for KOF and how it builds the community? Like, for example, I'll kind of just start. I'll say like as far as like building your local scene, like you have to do that yourself. You can't depend on net play. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can help you get better at the game, to a degree, help you with matchups and some Yomi training. But if you want to build a community, you have to do it yourself. You have to call people up. You have to organize it or whatever. Meet up at a game store, or mall, or whatever. Like I don't think people should just blame netplay for not having a good local scene. Like there's places you can post that, online. You could keep an eye out for the threads if people are like popping in and out, things like that. But like, what do y'all think like overall as far as like the game's like netcode and how the game has like grown or whatever, or if you feel that maybe it's at fault or whatever or not? Like, what do you think, man? Why don't we start with Reiki? I said that right?
Yeah, you did.
Is that what?
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, cool. Yeah, why don't you like share your thoughts on that? And I know there have been some thoughts in the survey as well regarding net play, right?
Yeah, a lot of people have said that they really think net play sucks, and that's the huge reason why KOF doesn't do really well. Well, keep talking with me. I like the dialogue. What else do you want to know?
I mean, I feel that like, because like if people say the netcode sucks, like do you think that's a big contributing factor on why people don't want to get into the game or something like that? Is like, because like I've heard people like even sell the game over there. Oh man, because the netcode is horrible, and I'm like, no, dude, we can play like locally, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, well,
that's a terrible excuse. Mm-hmm. In all honesty, I play with people all over my state. I also play people from Japan. Like, if you guys have ever heard of Professor from Japan, like MM Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I play with him online all the time, and he's in Japan, and I can get a decent game off of him here and there. So the netcode's not terrible as long as people, one, have a wire connection, and two, aren't like halfway across the world from each other.
Right.
So as long as you can manage that, then it's okay. I mean, I can play people in my city or in my state and have a 4-bar connection, and it's okay. So, with people saying that the netcode is terrible, well, you probably have no one in your whole state to play, or you guys
Yeah,
are
if I
really
could,
trying
if I
very
could
hard.
just interject here, thing about netcode being bad, like, I think we've all tried to play online, right, at various times, and I think
Yeah.
we've all seen how sometimes, like, at least for me, I remember once, several times when I was living in LA, I had some sets against Koopa. Koopa does streaming, so he has godlike internet, I have godlike internet, and we had great matches online. But outside of that, like, if you're looking for random ranked matches, it's way less consistently reliable than games like Marvel and Street Fighter, or other fighting games, right? And what's funny about this conversation is that a lot of players play those games online, but it's not proportional to how much larger those offline tournament scenes are, right? Like the most people who play online, they might be really into the game, they might watch streams, but I think there's a fair number of those people who never actually come out to tournaments or sessions or anything like that. So I think this conversation about netcode, right? Obviously, if the netcode was better, then yeah, I think it's reasonable to assume we'd have more players. But I'm not really sure how relevant having this conversation is to benefiting our community, because we don't really have the ability to make the netcode better, right?
Right.
The netcode is what it is, and if people want to take advantage of it, and if they feel like they can have a reasonable, they can have a productive kind of session playing online, then yeah, good for them. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case for the majority of the players, and because of that, I don't think it's really helping our community a lot to try to focus on netcode issues.
Yeah,
In general,
I
talking
definitely
about them
agree
or
with
whatever.
that.
Right.
I mean, for me, I feel like with the age of internet, we kind of feel like, it's because the netcode sucks. Like I'm not gonna have anyone to play against. Because a lot of the like people who are just not up, they just like a lot of them that play Street Fighter and Marvel. They're content with just playing online and just being at home. And then with that, they discover things like streams and level up and like other whatever they're gonna watch, and they get more into it, and then that's what kind of would lead them to playing at the actual tournaments and gatherings and whatnot. And the inherent sizes, I feel like, of the like the Marvel and the Street Fighter scene, it allows them for people for my people like David Kong was saying, that said, I'm having a session at my place. There be more people that would be willing to have those. And I see a lot of people, because I'm part of the SoCal like Marvel group, and a lot of them say like, I'm gonna have a session this day, blah, blah, blah. And all these people say, I'm free, let's have the session. So I feel like a lot more people need to, at least for our scene, since we're definitely smaller than like the Marvel or the Street Fighter scene, we would need more people to step up in that sense. And I feel like we need better resources for people to know about these sessions and whatnot, and like gatherings, and because I feel like at this point in the KOF status or whatever, we definitely need to go more grassroots and go directly to people and have them make the game more accessible to them. So because of the net code of like David said, it is what it is. We have to work harder on our end to make it a more in-person game. So we just gotta pick up the slack in that sense. Back in the day, they didn't have no online gaming. So because we don't have that option, doesn't mean that it's okay to write it off, I think so.
Right.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's a big reason why I'm trying to draw new players to come and play at this rookie tournament that I'm going to be doing next week on Friday. I'm really hoping that we can get more people to go so that more experienced players can give them information, while the people that are participating in the tournament have someone to kind of like feed them information while they're playing.
Right. Okay. Colt, man, what do you think about the whole conversation about net play and trying to get people to come out and stuff like that. If the net play scares people away, or if I know it's a long story, man.
It's not that it scares them away, but it's a total. It's a bummer. I want to play KOF. I want to find someone to play right now. Okay, let's do it. So you get inside the online options. You select, and then in my case, that I don't have godlike internet like David Concept, the matches will never happen. It's like I'm waiting, and it never happens. So in a way, it's a disappointment. It's a way to I don't know. I don't know how to express it in English, but it's a way that diminishes the experience of the game for a lot of players. And you were saying before before we start recording the podcast that some of you guys were in training mode 5 or 4 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
And it will be awesome if of those 5 or 4 hours a day, 3 would be of training mode and 2 would be about going online and fighting matches fast as hell and just playing and having fun and proving that what you were training, it's really working. But unfortunately, there's no way to do that, because for me doing that, I need to know who can I play with. It's like, hey dude, you wanna play right now? I find them on Facebook, maybe on Twitter, and then make a virtual matchup online. And that, in my opinion, that ruins totally the experience of online playing, because going online is like proving yourself against anyone, not those guys you already know and you already know how they play. It's like you going against the world, and not talking about, of course, that nowadays almost any gamer expect that a multiplayer game has a good online option. So I really do believe it's like the netcode on KOF XIII is totally a barrier to enjoy the game to its fullest.
Okay, Malik, you have any thoughts to add about the whole situation regarding net play?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of an old school player. I honestly don't like net play, even though I've used a lot of it. So for me, playing KOF it was kind of like, it was natural, because it really forces people to get more social and stuff. People to get together. If you really want to level up your game, you have to talk with people and just I guess like not to put it like in a huge ego way or anything, but like not to waste anyone's time. Like, but you can have fun as well. But like, I think people just this generation in general it's been made lazy. Like let's face it. Like everything from video games to life, like everything has been made lazy. And net play and streams are examples. Like, people don't want to leave their houses. Like, oh, why go to this tournament? I can just watch it. Oh, well, why go to this tournament when I could just play at home? Like, well, with this, with KOF, you can't really do that for the most part. If if you want to really get decent, or even then, like, it's just boring playing by yourself at home. So because half of the hype in this game is playing with other people, like getting loud and just having a good time, and just being at home alone, just pressing buttons or whatever, it's not really good. I think this game forces people to be, more active as far as like socially and stuff. To try to merge people together to, just make a stronger, knitted community. And I don't think this game's netcode being bad has really affected it. To me, it has. Like, I'm not gonna be ignorant and say no, it hasn't. But it's like you got to deal with it. Like,
guys, I think we're pretty much on consensus here, if on the whole issue. But let's go ahead and wrap this up, because I think we spent a lot of time here talking about, there were some really great points brought up earlier about how awesome this year was in general. I think in general we could all agree that this was very positive 12-month period of time for KOF and the KOF community. And I think we've had some really, meaningful discussion about productive ways that we can continue growing and continue succeeding into the next year, and keep this hype train moving. But yeah, why don't we just go around, just like final thoughts, any shout outs, any like final kind of statements about the year in general, anything at all. So why don't we start with you, Colt?
Well, first of all, guys, I have to say that you need to come to Mexico City. There are no rains of lead here. This place is not like Fox News told you is. Really. You're gonna have a great time playing KOF. You're gonna know how this culture of this game is right here. You're gonna know a lot of good people, a lot of good players, and this is for you here on the podcast and to everyone listening to this. You need to come here if you want to learn KOF, and if you want to know other players, make part of your vacations, maybe, I don't know, but really, you're gonna have a great time here. You have friends already here, you just don't know them. Second of all, thank you very much for having me today. I want to send some shout outs to all the Mexican community, the South Cal community that received me with open arms, the North Cal community that was also awesome on the Dragon launch the days I was there. Thank you very much. I hope I can see you guys more this year. I will be trying to be at sorry, if I don't lose my voice, I will be trying to be at Evo this year. I hope so. I will be totally eliminated on my bracket, but it doesn't matter. I just want to get hyped over there. Thank you very much. Shout outs to all the communities out there that are starting to bring the hype. I have the faith that after the first major on 2013, the KOF train will be again on its rails, and it's gonna be awesome, guys. I have faith in that.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Colt. And Reiki, what about you, man?
Well, this year I really made it my goal to try and get as many new people around the world as interested in KOF as I possibly can. And the way that I want to do that is by working with my community to start doing informational videos, kind of like what Kane 317 and Choysauce are trying to do. So look towards NorCal because we're going to start doing some stuff.
Definitely, man. Any shout outs you want to give?
Well, I definitely want to give shout outs to I Play Winner. I want to give some shout outs to all of my friends in Southtown. I really miss hanging out with them so much, like Hell Pockets, Pixel, Jose, BBZ, JD, Elric, Gen D. I miss Art, guy who runs Southtown. Really miss all you guys. Ram Nation, freaking UC Davis crew, all the people at SJSU. There are a lot of people up here that I want to give shout outs to that are really trying to pick up the game, and also people that have been really supportive. Awesome.
And what about you, Malik? Final thoughts and shout outs?
I hope more like new people come and play because, I would say I'm definitely a new player myself for KOF, and I love this game, man. Like, it's been one of the best things that happened in my life, and I just want everyone else to, experience the joy that I do with this game as well. And I'll give shout outs to Team Stickbug Zero Division, all my friends in Georgia, Jersey, everybody else, just doing their thing in life, in game, whatever. Just stick with the game, please. Just stick with the game.
And Choysauce, final thoughts and shout outs.
I think this year it's definitely been a great year for KOF. I mean, like they said at Evo, it's like KOF is back. Sorry, that's my phone, but yeah. So because like for the longest time it hasn't been around, and like the time that I started, in the FGC, I knew about KOF, but I'd never seen anybody play tournaments, and then KOF 13 comes out, and all of a sudden, there's like a much bigger scene than what I would imagine there would have been. And I definitely think KOF is definitely on the rise in that sense, but lately it's hasn't been doing too well, I feel like, to be honest. But I feel like with the passion that we all have here, and like our love for this game, because this game is amazing. You know, like it really rewards. It's so rewarding, and there's so much to learn from it. And I feel like, you know, with those qualities going forward, we can really show that to everybody else, and we'll be able to grow the community that way. So, I think good things are to come. So 2013 will definitely be a good year for growth. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, to our guests, once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. And if any of our listeners are curious, you guys can follow these dudes on Twitter. We'll get all their Twitter information probably after the show, and we'll post it up for you guys. Once again, we were joined by Reiki from NorCal, Choysauce from SoCal, Malik from New York, and Colt from Mexico. And now, Desmond, I guess, do you have any closing remarks from Dream Cancel or anything like that?
Oh, yes. Let's just keep playing KOF. Let's just keep learning the game as much as we can. As you heard before, we have to get, new players into the game. It's going to be essential to, grow the community and expand it as much as we can. Build your local community, get up, do something, host a session or something like that, get people together, and just help people out. It's like, that's the reason why, Dream Council is up. We want to help as much as we can to help people get better and to build and grow the community as much as, we can. But it's the players that got to do the work, you know what I'm saying? So, if you want to help build a community, it's gonna take some work, and shout outs, everybody that's on the forum, shout outs to y'all, shout outs to, anybody that's listening in the fighting game community, because, it can be a little difficult sometimes to, to just kind of like build something up, especially with this game is just so good. Like sometimes I just wonder, like, man, why isn't everyone playing this game? This game is like amazing, I love it, but like, hey, that's kind of how it is sometimes with, different, fighters, especially now, that we have, so many different ones out. But, yeah, I think that's about it. Just keep playing KOF, just keep learning, keep, creating, new data, new technology as much as you can, help the new players out. And hopefully 2003 will be a good year, bigger than 2012. What you say?
You mean 2013?
I said 2012. What?
No, I think you said 2003.
oh, my fault. Oh yeah,
that was a horrible year for KOF.
Oh yeah, that game was horrible, man. Yeah. Yeah, I meant 2013. I just meant I just forgot the one.
Totally kidding.
Yeah. But I think that's about it.
Awesome. And yeah, once again, thank you to all of our guests, all of our listeners. If you guys have any feedback for this episode of the podcast or anything like that, please feel free to hit us up in the forums, in the comments. We have, I think, threads for each one of our episodes. Unfortunately, I really have to apologize, Desmond. I haven't been here for the past couple of episodes because life has just been kind of burying me under a mountain, but hopefully I'll be here more often in the coming months. I also do want to give a final kind of announcement to everyone to look out for SoCal Regionals coming up January 18th through the 20th, I believe. It's Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and it's going to be a huge tournament for KOF. All the SoCal crew is going to be here. NorCal's coming down. I think even Florida is traveling all the way out here to Irvine to come and compete in KOF. So it's going to be really, really sick. And from everyone here at Dream Council, we wish you guys a happy new year and a great 2013. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.